And when you think about the mountains, Mount Rainier in Washington, the Grand Tetons, and any of the highest ranges around the world, they would view those, as you and I can view them, as the place where God is overlooking the world. And at the same time having holy interchange between heaven and earth. It's a visual image. But in the course of thinking about mountains also, they began to realize that in addition to the time for solitude, the time of danger, they realized and believed that mountains served no good purpose for human beings on earth, because they called out not just the few into solitude and truth looking for truth, but also called out the worst in human beings, the greed, the avarice, the destruction, right? You can see that on mountains all around the world, right? Where we blow off the tops of mountains in search for precious metals. Francis of Assisi, in his understanding, he would cross the Apennine Mountains range in Italy, and what he saw was that in order to survive a mountain journey, you really needed two things. One was to attend to the day, and the other was comfort. Now in the Bible, the word comfort stands for shalom, for well-being, for peace, those kinds of things. And what he saw on his journeys through the Apennine Mountains is that if you did not attend to the day, pay attention to the day, and thought too far ahead to your destination, you were likely to run into trouble. If you're not paying attention and you're walking along the edge of a mountain path on the edge of a cliff, and you're thinking about getting to your next destination for a good hot meal, you're likely to stumble and fall off the edge of the cliff. Attend to the day, otherwise danger lurks. The second thing that he noted was that in all mountain travel, it is important to recognize that it requires comfort or shalom or well-being. In the mountains, you need food, water. If you're staying for an extended journey, shelter, and oftentimes help in the form of other companions, including strangers. And so, what happened on that mountain on the day of Transfiguration with Jesus, him going to a high mountain, was a recognition by him of what life is truly composed of. Parts danger, parts well-being, parts solitude, and parts a call to attend to the day. And he did all of those on that mountain. Now, the disciples recognized that too, because what did they want to do? One of those good shalom things, right? They wanted to build booths, shelters up on the mountain as part of their shalom gift. Jesus, when he came down the mountain, had, however, had his identity confirmed. Now, you know how hard it is, just as a normal human being, all of us standing for normal human beings, how hard it is to really know who you are and what matters to you. Transfiguration in the Bible literally occurs through our entire lifetimes. We are not the same people that we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. Our attitudes have changed because of our experiences. Our reflections on the meaning of our lives is different than they were. And because of that, Transfiguration is one of those gifts of God that occurs in our lives on a continual, constant basis, where we recognize life's danger, where we recognize the importance and necessity of the gifts of the shalom, gifts of God, right? Shelter, food, water, friendships, those kinds of things. And also recognize the value and necessity of self-awareness and contemplation of who we are at this time in our lives. That's the gift that was given to Jesus, the very gift that he gave to all of us through the Holy Spirit. The ability to recognize danger, to attend to the day, and to recognize the need for shalom, for well-being, in St. Francis' words, for the comforting nature which comes with being alive. The coming down off the mountain, what was the first thing that they ran into? Reality. There's a kid down there with the parents crazed because they can't help their son. They can't do a thing. And so they have to call on Jesus, who is now fully aware of who he is as the Son of God. And because of his features changing, that was a sign for him that both his internal being, in spirit, heart, mind, and soul, and his physical appearance were all in alignment as Son of God. And so when he came down the mountain, he was able to function fully in that manner and to heal that young man who was so convulsed. It says literally that he was knocked to the ground and thrown to the ground by the Spirit and badly bruised and hurt. And if you have fallen down your steps over this winter, know what it means to be badly bruised after falling down. And Jesus was able to heal that young man only because he was given that gift and recognition that he was a bearer of shalom, of peace, of comforting. And that is your gift and mine as we are in times of transformation and transfiguration. There should not be a time as a follower of Jesus in which you are not thinking about the changes in your life in a very special and particular way. One is recognition of the danger which attends to being alive. Importantly, knowing that you must attend and pay attention to each day so that you are called to be a peacemaker, a giver of shalom in God's way, a person of comfort. And that means paying attention to the day, because you don't know when that call is going to come. It'll be a surprise, it'll be out of left field. It may be with family, it may be with friends or colleagues, you just don't know. But the gift that Jesus was given on that day on the Mountain of Transfiguration was the gift of knowing fully that he was God's man and that he was the Son of God. When he came down the mountain, that was a confirmation both to him and the disciples, but mostly to he himself, Jesus, that he was in fact doing the right things at the right times in the right ways, and that his insight was true and solid, and he knew who he was. And that's the gift that the Holy Spirit builds and works through us in the course of our lives. The gift of a stronger recognition that we are God's people. We are God's women, children, and men. And because of that, we are constantly called to a growing awareness, a transfiguration, that we are people of shalom giving, people of giving well-being and of comforting. All of those things. And also, every time from now on when you look at a mountain, you should be asking yourselves those very questions. What's dangerous right now in my life and in the lives of the people that I know and in the life of the world? And that should also call out upon you to answer the questions of how you will address those dangers by means of attending to the day, as St. Francis described, and of being a keeper and creator of shalom, of well-being, of comfort in the lives of other people. That's the gift that you carry as a follower of Jesus. And it is the day of transfiguration in your life when you are fully cognizant of it and can act on it with both authority, with speed, and appropriate actions. Amen.